welcome to the Valley. Today, I am your host, Janet Michael. It is Laurel Ridge Community College Day, and we were on the Zooms with Sally Voth today. She is Public Relations Coordinator for Laurel Ridge Community College. We've got two of their outstanding graduates on the Zooms with us as well. You're going to hear from Maria Valle first. She is Fauquier campus's outstanding graduate. Mary Herter Nelson is going to join us in the second segment. She is Middletown's outstanding graduate for Laurel Ridge Community College. So, Maria, I want to jump over to you and first say congratulations. This is a really big deal.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I am really happy and I feel very humbled for this award and this recognition.
Tell me a little bit about your background. How was it that you landed at Laurel Ridge Community College on their Fauquier campus?
Yes, so I am originally from Argentina and I always dreamed about studying abroad. I came to Boston to do a short English course in 2018 and I fell in love with the US and I was like, this is where I want to study. And so in 2022, I decided to give it a try. I moved here to Warrenton. First, I did some English courses because I wanted to improve my English before starting my college journey. Then I started doing my research for colleges and I found out that Laurel Ridge was literally 10 minutes away from where I was. So I started talking to neighbors in the Facebook groups to see if they had some comments about Laurel Ridge, and everybody had nice things to say. And I felt that was my goal. So that's how I ended up at Laurel Ridge.
And I understand you have an interest in criminal justice. That's what you studied and some of the classes that you took while you were there.
Yes, correct. I did general studies in administration of justice, and I am transferring to Shenandoah University next fall to get my degree in criminology and criminal justice.
You are going to love Shenandoah University.
Yes, it's beautiful. I've been to campus and I loved it. And when it comes to professors, I've had such a great experience at Laurel Ridge that I have really high expectations. So hopefully it's going to be the same.
Was it intimidating at all? Tell me a little bit about your first day on campus.
Yes, it was intimidating because even though I've been learning English since I was 5, basically, because I had English at school and then I did different courses and everything, it's not the same when it comes to higher education, I think, because you know that the whole journey it's going to be in a language that is not your native language. And I was a little bit hesitant at first because I wasn't sure if I was ready or not. Even though I've been studying it for so long, I felt really nervous, but it was very challenging. But then I ended up realizing that it was good and I felt ready after a couple of days and a couple of classes. But yeah, at first it was very intimidating, but I had a wonderful experience. And all the professors and the classmates were very open-minded and they were very accepting. I never encountered any difficulties or like any instances where I felt that I didn't belong. So that was wonderful too.
I could definitely see where it's almost as if it's a dual learning experience because you have to know the content. You're there to learn what you're there to learn, but then it gets a little wonky because you have to make sure that however they're teaching that content to you, you understand what that means as well. So you're doing double duty in a lot of ways.
Yes, definitely. And there were some classes which were general classes that I had in high school, for example, like math or biology. And it was a completely different experience because there was something that was, oh, okay, this is what I learned. And so I was trying to establish a relationship between those classes and what I learned in Spanish and in my home country. So it was wonderful because even though I had some concepts that I already knew from high school, it was completely different to learn them in a different language and in the way that professors would teach it as well, because every professor is different. And that was also a wonderful experience.
What was your life like from just being a college student perspective? Did you make a ton of new friends? Did you get involved in clubs and groups, things like that?
Yeah, so I was involved in PDK, which is the Honor Society in the Fauquier campus. And I worked really closely with one of my professors, Lisa Dunick. She was my literature professor and English composition professor. She's wonderful. And we did a lot of projects to try to get more engagement from students. And that was a wonderful experience too, because I got to know a lot of people, wonderful students who had different goals, different lives. So it's always beautiful to meet new people and to see diversity in that sense. So yes, I was really involved with that club, especially last fall.
So many of us that are born and raised here think about studying abroad, and we think about going to London, and we think about going to Italy and to all these places. And you too are studying abroad, except that you're studying abroad here. I bet a lot of people had a lot of questions for you about what life was like in Argentina and why did you choose the US? You probably had a lot of friends just out of curiosity.
Yes, definitely. And professors too. And that was beautiful because you feel that people are interested in your journey. And for me, it was a whole big experience, but sometimes you're like, oh, each person has their own lives. And so it was nice to talk to people and share that as well. And some people would tell me that they travel to different places or close to Argentina or even to Argentina and share their experience of how they saw the country or what they thought about the country. So that was really nice too.
Were you completely and totally shocked when you found out that you had been nominated as an outstanding graduate? I can imagine, as someone who came into this whole experience brand spanking new, to think this is where you'd end up would probably be pretty shocking.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like I said, my first day, I was so nervous about the whole journey and I felt I wasn't ready and everything. And then having this recognition was really shocking because it's for the whole campus. And I was like, oh my God, like that means a lot. That really means a lot because I felt that my effort was being valued and I was really happy about that.
Sally, when these students are nominated as outstanding graduates, it typically comes from their professors. Is that right? So I'm sure the professors, having worked up close and personal with Maria, had some really great things to say about her.
They did. She was described as an absolutely outstanding scholar, talented writer, and nimble critical thinker with a deep commitment to human rights and victim advocacy that motivates her studies and work outside the classroom. And she has a clear vision for how she can use her education to make this world a better place by tackling some of the challenging issues in our society. While many students stick with classroom theory, she independently went out on her own, seeking rigorous professional training that usually they don't do until they're already in their careers.
Maria, are there some professors that really have stood out to you that you want to make sure they understand what kind of an impact they've had on your education?
Yes, all of my professors at Laurel Ridge have been amazing, and I'm really grateful for everything I've learned. But there were three professors that really gave me a lot of advice, and they supported me a lot through the journey, and I'm really grateful for what they did. One of them is Lisa Dunick. She was my English composition and literature professor. She taught me how to write in a better way for academic essays, which is always useful for professional life, not just academic life. And she supported me a lot throughout the journey. She's also the one that nominated me for the recognition, so I'm very grateful. And then Professor Lisa Cara, she was my criminology professor for most of my criminal justice classes. She was amazing. She also gave me a lot of advice related to the career and my future, how my future would look like as a criminal justice professional. So I'm really grateful. And then Professor Terrence Marr, she was my history and sociology professor, and she was also very helpful and she supported me a lot throughout the journey. And she was also very interested in learning about Argentina, and I will always appreciate that because it's nice. So I'm really grateful for everybody, but especially for those three professors.
So you're set to start Shenandoah University. Will you do that in the fall?
Yes, this fall.
How excited are you? Are you going to live on campus? Give me a little details about what your future looks like at Shenandoah.
I'm going to stay here in Warrenton. I only have a 50-minute drive, so it's not that bad. And it's also beautiful landscapes full of little farms and cows. So it's a beautiful route to get there. I just scheduled my classes for the fall. I have a lot of different classes, and yeah, I feel it's going to be great. I also plan to be on campus a lot and study there because they have beautiful spaces. And here at Laurel Ridge, I did that as well. I loved going to the library and spending time there and preparing for my exams. So I think always being on campus is a beautiful experience. You also see people, talk to people. And so, yeah, that's my plan for now.
I mentioned earlier that you are studying criminal justice. You're going to take a specific path within that criminal justice field, right?
Yes, so my goal would be to be able to work in victim services. I've been doing a lot of different trainings offered by Fairfax County on domestic violence and sexual violence, all different types of crimes. And I learned a lot about how to treat victims and talk to victims. And I met some ladies that did some of the speeches about victim services. And that's where I realized that was what I wanted to do. Because at first I was a little hesitant. I really loved the program, but I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I was also looking into translation because I know that's always needed sometimes. And with Spanish and English, you can always get some victims that are Hispanic, and it would be nice to be able to help my own people that are here. And so that's how I ended up choosing that specific field.
You're also really lucky in that in the Shenandoah Valley, we have some outstanding organizations that serve that population. We have the Laurel Center, we have the Phoenix Project in Front Royal. We have a lot of groups in and around this area that are really going to be able to get you acclimated to what victim services does and all of the options that are available to them.
Yes, I feel very lucky. And also, there are so many trainings and options out there for me to learn and to be able to meet people and professionals that can teach me how to get into the field and give me advice. So I feel really lucky. Also, with professors at Laurel Ridge, I've had some amazing professors in the criminal justice classes and sociology, and they were able to give me really good advice about how the professional career is going to look like. And I feel very grateful for that.
Do you plan to stay here in the States and continue your professional career?
So that would be my goal. If I can find a way to do that, I would love to, because I feel that I would be able to help more people here. That's my biggest goal, to do something where I can help people. I love my country, but unfortunately, like most Latin American countries, we have a lot of corruption. And so victim services is not a thing over there. No one pays attention to it. It's really hard to work with the justice system over there. So I feel that I wouldn't be able to help as many people as I would like to, or as I would be able to help here, especially with my Spanish, because I feel here there are so many people that really need Spanish translators in that field, especially when you've suffered or you've been through a really terrible situation or involved in a crime. I feel it would be nice to have someone that speaks your own language and that can help you understand the whole legal system in the US so you can go through the process. So that's my main goal.
It's also a huge benefit because so many of the victims that you will likely encounter are going to be women. So having another woman in that field that can also then speak the language is almost a dual benefit.
Yes, I feel that my calling, like I said, was during that training where I met these ladies that were in victim services, and they were the ones that told me that they need a lot of Spanish speaking people. It's really needed in that area. And I felt, okay, this is my call 100%. This is what I want to do. And it combines two of my main goals, which are helping people and also using communication or language, which is something that I really like, I really enjoy. I loved all my composition classes and my literature classes because I feel that communication is really important, especially in modern times.
So before we go to break, I have to ask my standard question for all of the outstanding graduates that I've talked to in years past is what advice do you have for someone who maybe is listening right now and they are at that intimidation point? They're like, I don't think I can do this. I don't know that I'm ready for this. What advice would you give them?
What I would say is, even though it's nice having plans and making plans all the time about what you want to do in the future, be open to new experiences because it can always lead you to wonderful places that you never imagined. So always be ready to change your plans. Don't set on them. That would be my advice.
I think that is super good advice.
Thank you.
Well, let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to introduce you to Mary Herder Nelson. She is Laurel Ridge Community College Middletown campus's outstanding graduate. We're going to hear her story when we come back in just a couple of minutes.
Okay, what are you doing with your kids all summer? I can't do another screen time marathon every time it's too hot outside or I need to work. Same. That's why I signed mine up for Typewriter Studio camps.
Oh, I've seen that place. In Old Town Winchester. It's cute. Art, right?
Yeah, but way more than that. Confidence, goals, history, culture, with real art educators. And different camps every week. My kids actually grow there.
Wait, what ages?
1st through 8th grade, June through August. Half or full day. And you can even stack with the Discovery Museum.
Okay, that's smart.
Starts at just $180 with sibling discounts, so both of yours can go.
Send me that link.
Already did. It's typewriterstudio.org. Oh, and use code FULLDAY at checkout for 15% off the PM camps.
Don't waste another summer. Have your kid explore, play, create cool art, and build friendships in a safe, creative space with limited class sizes and licensed teachers. Visit typewriterstudio.org and click Summer Camps. Use code FULLDAY at checkout for 15% off the PM camp. Additional savings for members.
Welcome back to the Valley. Today, I am your host, Janet Michael. It is Laurel Ridge Community College Day. We are talking to their two outstanding graduates. In the first segment, you heard from Maria Valle. She is Fauquier campus's outstanding graduate for Laurel Ridge Community College. We're going to meet Mary Herder Nelson next. She is from the Middletown campus. Sally Voth is joining us as well. She is Public Relations Coordinator for the college. And Mary, I want to jump in because I read the story that Sally had written about you on the Laurel Ridge Community College website. And the thing that struck me right off the bat was that you're not even the only Laurel Ridge student in your family. Your entire family is a Laurel Ridge family, I think.
Yes, that is true. So I've been here at Laurel Ridge since the fall of 2023. Graduated in the fall, but I'm walking this spring. My mom, when she was going to college, when it was Lord Fairfax, she took a few semesters here while she was going to Christendom College. And then my older brother, Joseph, he attended Laurel Ridge as well and then transferred also to Christendom. And then my younger sister, I have two younger sisters, but my younger sister joined at the same time as I did. So when I graduated from high school, I took a year and helped my mom with teaching. I was a teacher's assistant for our homeschool consortium, Classical Cottage School. So I took a year off because I frankly was too nervous to go to college. My mom had suggested that I go to college because I knew I did not want to go to a 4-year yet because that was absolutely way too far from my family. And we had just moved, so I wanted to regrow some roots to feel solid before moving off to college. But she had thought, hey, we should sign up for college. And I was like, no. I was a little bit too scared at that point. But the following year, both my sister Juliana and I joined Laurel Ridge Community College. I joined as a full-time student, and my sister joined doing the dual enrollment program. So she was there as her last year of high school while I was there for my first year of college. So that was the only way that I was going to be willing to go to college, was with the support of my family. My mom signed me up for college and talked to people because I was way too shy. I would never have been able to take that leap on my own. Although I knew that I wanted higher education, it probably would have taken me a few more years if I was on my own.
I don't even know your mom, and I already love her so much.
Everyone who does know her should love her. She is wonderful. She's definitely my inspiration and my support through everything. There's no one who could replace my mom. So I'm so happy that we're recording this close to Mother's Day, because then she's right there in my mind, and she's the one who got me through my college and also all of my schooling, because she did homeschool me.
So I asked Maria about her first day and making the decision to go to Laurel Ridge. You just kind of explained a little bit about how mom made that decision and you went along with it. Do you think that it was easier on your first day because you had your sister there with you? Do you think you would have eventually done it on your own?
I probably would have eventually done it on my own. I did definitely want to go to college. I did always want to learn more. I've never wanted to stop learning. I may want to do no homework at some point, but I've never wanted to stop learning and growing. I love education, so I've always wanted to go to college, and I've always expected that I would get a bachelor's degree. I'm not sure how I feel about a master's degree at this point because I'm feeling the burnout out somewhat.
You're still in the thick of it.
Exactly. Having my sister there with me at college was very helpful. However, her class started on a Wednesday and my first class started on a Monday. So I had to go my first day without my sister. And I remember the advice she gave me because I was very, very shy. And I thought that the idea of Laurel Ridge, a college, it was so foreign and unknown that it just seemed so hostile an environment because I didn't know it yet. And so I remember asking her for advice, and she told me to make a friend so that then you have positive association with it, so that you can have one person with you. And so I knew that I wanted this to be a positive experience. So arrived very early so that I couldn't be late and I couldn't not find my way to my class. So I arrived probably like an hour early and I decided to eat lunch in the Student Union building. They have a little cafeteria section.
Oh, in the Laurel Cafe.
That-
Yes, I've been there
Yes.
for coffee.
is wonderful. At that time, the Laurel Cafe wasn't there. So I was just sitting out on one of the tables and there was this guy, super attractive. And so I went up to him and I asked if I could eat lunch with him. We said possibly a total of 10 words to each other. I got his name, but we've not spoken since that day. And oh my goodness, it was the best thing ever because I felt like I had won the biggest victory because I got over the fear of talking to someone. So now I had a friend at Laurel Ridge and the whole trajectory just blossomed from there.
From what I understand, you didn't just make the one friend. You thought, okay, now I'm going to be friends with all of the peoples.
Yes, that was not a choice that I made originally. It just sort of came step by step through the process of my college career. My first class was with Professor Rich Follett. That was the
I know Rich, and I will bet you that was the most entertaining class that you probably ever took at Laurel Ridge Community College.
I would have to say it was. Rich Follett is absolutely amazing. I miss him every day that he is not at Laurel Ridge. But for the college success skills class, he taught us so many things that helped us make sure that our path at Laurel Ridge, that we understood all of the resources. He taught us all of how to use Canvas so we weren't completely lost in all of our classes. He made us do a tour of the campus and wonderful activities. It was a very engaging class. But the biggest thing that Rich Follett gifted us with was he really encouraged our whole class to become a community and gave me that same piece of advice that my sister had of finding people that you can connect with that then are going to be supports throughout your whole college career, that you can't do it alone. And honestly, why would you want to do it alone? So he really made that seed that I had, that little victory, he really watered it and nourished it so that then that was part of my goal. My goal was not just get this diploma anymore, not survive a campus of strangers, but transform that campus of strangers into a beautiful community of support. And so that's what I did.
What were your classes like coming from a homeschool background and then sitting in a classroom of that nature? Was it very different? Was it kind of the same? What was the learning experience like?
We did homeschooling solely at home until I was perhaps 8 years old, and then we started also enrolling in Classical Cottage Consortium, a homeschool group that is in Winchester. They rent spaces so that we have classrooms, and so I was very used to the classroom environment. The hardest challenge was getting used to everything being online because everything was on paper. Classical Cottage School does not allow technology, and so using a laptop and bringing a laptop to class, using stuff on your phone, it was the most wild, drastic change I experienced in my education because I was definitely not used to all of the technology, and now I have transferred where most everything I do is online. Having paper is the more rare thing now.
What went through your mind when you found out that you had been nominated as an outstanding graduate on the Middletown campus?
Well, at first I didn't understand what it was. At first I thought that it was an outstanding achievement in a specific subject, which I was completely honored and excited about. I had been nominated for the outstanding achievement in Spanish before, and so I was like, oh, that's wonderful. I was so happy and just very content. And then it was explained to me what this meant, and that's when I pretty much went speechless and didn't really know how to think about it or understand it or wrap my mind around it, because I've gotten to know all of the wonderful people in this community, and knowing my fellow students, I couldn't believe that the people who nominated me would have chosen me above all of the others here. I was so blown away and honored because I respect my peers so much here at Laurel Ridge that it was an honor above an honor. It was outstanding. I could not fathom that I was the outstanding graduate.
And Sally, much like with Maria, professors make these nominations, but Mary didn't just have professors. Chris Lambert from Student Life actually recommended her as well.
He did. He talked about the remarkable impact she's had at the college through her initiative, her leadership, and consistent engagement. Early on, she got involved in some of the mystery bus trips, and that, I think, really helped to bring her out of her shell. The first trip was to an indoor skydiving facility. And I know Mary told me that you get on these buses, you sit by a bunch of random people, and you come back, you got 10 new friends. But she also founded the dance club. She helped with marketing, and she organized a campus square dance. She became a student ambassador. And Chris added that she's been known for her approachability, teamwork, and leadership, and that she's been called intellectually curious, thoughtful, and a strong critical thinker. She's really involved with campus life and all the fun things. And she was involved in other clubs as well. But I don't know if Mary wants to mention this. She's brimming with joy. She's very effervescent. One of the reasons she chose education is because she wants to be a religious sister. She's got a higher calling. And with most sisters, the orders deal with the healthcare field or education.
That was going to be my next question to you, Mary, is what's next for you? What does the future look like?
So the future for me, basically in 2 weeks, when the summer officially starts, I'm going to be directing camps during the summer for my parish, St. James in Charlestown, West Virginia. So that's going to be from June all the way through the end of the summer, and I'll only have 1 week off. So I've got a busy summer ahead, but I am so thrilled and excited. And then in the fall, I'm hoping to find a position. I haven't applied to anywhere yet, but that's my next thing. Once I graduate, I'm applying to teaching positions to be a teacher's aide, an instructional assistant at one of our schools around Winchester.
I highly recommend Frederick County Public Schools as a James Wood Colonel. Not to diss Winchester City or Shenandoah County, anybody else, but I'm as an alum of Frederick County Public Schools, I highly recommend all of their schools.
I will keep that in mind. Thank you. And then after that long-term goal, I might go back to college, but first I want to decide what niche I would like to fit in so that I can better help people in that, and also have it be something that suits my skills so that I can do well in that. And then longer term, I would love to become a religious sister. I'm thinking an active order. Currently, the one that I'm looking into is the Sisters of Our Lady of Mercy. If you've heard of Saint Faustina, she was big into the idea of divine mercy and God's love, and she was a part of this order. So most people would know about the order through her, but that's just one option. There are so many, so I'm looking into a bunch, and we'll see where God takes me.
We talked a little bit about Chris Lambert. We talked a little bit about Rich. Are there other professors that you want to make sure know what kind of an impact they had on your learning journey at Laurel Ridge?
Oh, absolutely. We don't have the time of day for me to cover all of that. It might take too long to even list all of their names, but absolutely, most definitely, Polly Nesselrod has been one of the professors who has supported me most throughout my entire time at Laurel Ridge. I had her for my first semester for online Spanish. She's the sponsor for our dance club. She's absolutely the most amazing woman. You should get to know her if you take any languages at Laurel Ridge. Take her Spanish classes. She's awesome. Oh man, there's so many more.
I understand you were also part of the TRIO program. So I would imagine you had a TRIO advisor that was probably really helpful for you as you navigated this journey.
Absolutely. All my advisors at Laurel Ridge have been so amazing and helpful. Miss Caroline Walls is phenomenal. And then when I switched over to Trio, I have the amazing Miss Sasha Dawson. And you couldn't ask for a better advisor from either of them. They are amazing and always there to support you, so friendly and caring, and want to encourage you in every way possible. They're definitely always in your corner.
So what advice do you have then? And you can't use the advice that your sister gave you. You have to have brand spanking new advice for someone who's
Oh.
listening who also is intimidated about a whole new college experience.
My advice to you would be to find the support system that is going to carry you through and encourage you when you don't have the courage on your own. That you can't do this alone, but that you need to rely on others. And it's scary to find those others and to make those bonds, but it's so entirely worth it. So, my advice to you would be to take the leap with people that you trust.
And those people are there. I think sometimes that's also a
Yes.
misconception is that you're the only one and you're not going to find that tribe that you're looking to build, but they really are there and in the same boat as you in any given situation.
Yes, that was one piece of advice that my sister made. She made the point everyone else there is just as scared and also just as desirous to make friends. So if you make the first step, they will be overjoyed to follow along.
So, Sally, for someone who's listening today and these wonderful women have inspired them and they want to maybe research a little bit more about starting their journey at Laurel Ridge Community College, what is the best first step for them to take?
Go to our website, laurelridge.edu, and right away at the top of the page, it'll help you to enroll in summer and fall classes, learn about the financial aid and the G3 tuition assistance program, the pathways that you can explore, the careers that these could lead to. That would be my first step.
Maria, I wish you all the luck in the world. And again, congratulations. This is a huge deal, and I can't wait to see what you do next.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for having me.
And Mary, I'm excited to see how many more people you're going to meet and make an impact on, because I think that's the other part that you talk about, making these friends and meeting these people. And I think sometimes you forget that you too are leaving an imprint on them, much like you probably did a lot of the people listening today. So I wish you as much success as possible in the future.
Thank you so much.
I also have to say, I'm sure that your younger sister, Abigail, is not at all thrilled that now you've set the bar this high for her. So I'm sure she's rolling her eyes thinking, thanks, sis.
Oh no, Abby is going to outshoot me. Absolutely. I have no doubt about that. She doesn't need me to set a path for her.
Sally, you may have outdone Brandy and Guy Curtis, so now you might have to enter the arm wrestling contest that they have every month for who gets to do the show.
That would be fun.
I will be back tomorrow with a brand new episode of The Valley. Today, we're going to get all the details about Garden Fest, Northern Shenandoah Valley Master Gardeners Garden Fest, happening the first Saturday in June, and they are going to join me to give me all of those details. So meet me back here for that just a few minutes after noon.